You know, every now and then I see a game that really strikes my fancy, something that looks completely different than a lot of the other things you normally see released on Steam, especially indie titles and things like that. And when that happens, what I generally do is, like, try to actually play them. I know on my channel it seems like I play a lot of RPG and FPSs, but I play a variety of games, including ones like This Is the Police. This is the one we're going to be talking about today. It's a bit different, bit of a strategy/management style game with a nice artistic feel to it. It's supposed to be out on July 28th, which is the day I'm recording this. I don't know if I'll get it out today or not, but there's a slight mishap with the developer. They actually forgot to verify the game and send it into Valve to quality check. Yes, Valve does quality check their games. You wouldn't notice it, or know about it, or really expect it, considering some of the quality of games released on Steam nowadays, but they do. They forgot to do that, so the game is going to be out in another week, it seems, so that's a thing. But I have a review copy, and we're going to just talk about what the game is. I'm about 2 hours in. This shouldn't be considered as a review. It shouldn't even be considered really a first impressions. More like just explaining what the game is. I'm going to try to hold off most of my opinion about it. If you want a review of it, then there's a few of those online already. And you can also probably go find Total Biscuit's first impressions. I'm sure he's going to do one on this game in the next few days. It's kind of right up his alley of that weird little indie niche type thing. So let's go right into the game. We'll kind of explain what exactly is it going on, because it is a rather interesting beast, to say the least. That rhymed. I'm so happy with myself. So you start off every day with getting these newspapers. These have little bits of story bits and stuff, and there are not really any spoilers in them, but we're going to be going into a cutscene most likely now, so if you don't want to get spoiled on the game, I don't know, like, I don't think there's going to be any spoils, but there's a lot of story cutscenes and stuff in the game, so just be aware of that. If you want absolutely no spoilers, probably skip ahead until I'm actually playing the main parts of the game. But it should be okay, so there's your warning right there. We're going to go to work. So basically the premise is that you are a police commissioner, I think is that the right term for it. You run a police department, and you're retiring in 180 days, or being kind of forcefully retired due to extraneous circumstances. And you basically have to raise $500,000. There's a lot of story elements in this game, so we're going through a cutscene. I'm going to let you listen to some of the dialogue so you get a feel for the voice acting for a sec here.
It was like the sharp citrus scent was chasing me around the house, as if Vickers was right there in my living room. When I finally realized the smell was coming from a big basket of oranges, it didn't put me any more at ease. I'd opened my door to lots of threatening mail, evidence of criminal wrongdoing, even a dead ferret or two. But fruit? Never.
So there's a piece of the voice acting in this game. There's no music in these cutscenes, which I find really interesting. The voice acting, decently well for an indie title. I got no problem with it. I think it actually kind of suits it without music. Kind of makes it feel like more of a crime drama, real-life thing, almost intriguing. And you're going to notice the art style in these cutscenes, too, that I really, really like. It's a minimalist style. It looks very clean aesthetically. You know, it's obvious that they didn't have a huge budget for it, but what they did have, they managed to look really good. Like every screen in this game looks absolutely amazing, even when you get into the actual strategy parts of this game. So what we're gonna do here is actually kind of skip through this, because I don't want to spoil everything for you. So basically, I guess I have to choose to help one of these guys. I don't even know how I'm helping them, so we're just going to let's help the new guy. Why not? There's a lot of choices in the story that you make in this game, because you're trying to raise enough money for your retirement, but you're also trying to kind of run the police station and stay uncorrupt, even though you've been forced to kind of do corrupt things as well. It's very crime thriller drama-ish thing. It's kind of like, I say this story is almost Breaking Bad-esque, except with police officers instead, if that makes any sense. Alright, so here's the main meat of the game, and I have no idea what just happened in that cutscene, so I don't know if anything big has changed or not. But what you do is you manage your police stations. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm doing terrible in this game, but that's a good thing, and I'll tell you why in a sec here. So what we have right here is all the police officers and the detectives that we have for today. So police officers you send out to handle various crime situations in the city, and detectives will help you solve larger crimes that might need more suspects, and you piece those together and everything as well. It's actually really kind of interesting, to say the least. So what we're going to do is, we don't have a lot of police officers, but we're going to start the day anyways. I can't hire anyone until I start the day, so I'd have to wait until tomorrow anyways. Alright, so what we do here, we can actually choose some music to play. Now, here's the weird thing about this game. I might actually turn the music off, but trust me when I say that it's actually really good. I did really enjoy it. I might be able to skip over to the map. The only reason I'm not going to choose any music right now is because it seems to be licensed through a third party. All the different music tracks, although they're really good, they have a slogan for a specific company, so I don't want to risk getting those potentially trying to claim my video or anything. So I'm not going to do that, but go look up the soundtrack or something, because it's really, really, really good. So I think I'm going to skip to the map. Yeah, let's go ahead. So this is where the main meat of the game kind of arrives. Basically, you go through an entire day and things will pop up on the screen here. So we get messages on the side here. We're going to check those out first of all. So we got some salary from the city hall. I'm not getting a whole lot right now, and that's because they really don't like me. In fact, no one really likes me. And the reason for that is because I'm choosing to mostly try to be the best police commissioner I can, which is kind of my choice. Because in this game, you can choose to either appease basically the town council and the mayor, who's kind of a dick, or you can choose to become kind of a corrupt guy, help out the mafia a lot more, and do a lot of things like that. You can even go and get like your police officers killed if you want to. You can see which ones are going to, like, say, testify against you as well, and a whole bunch of different neat little things. So we're going to go ahead and take our salary there. We have an inspection. They're concerned about the low effectiveness ratings of Freeburg's fines, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's going to be people visiting the department. I don't know what that means yet. That's a new thing. And, okay. Yeah, so right now I've got another guy who's being up for an award. I'm supposed to not let anything bad happen to him. Thankfully, he's on the other police shift, so I don't think I have to really handle it or deal with it a whole lot right now, which is good. Alright, there's a notification at City Hall here. Yeah, so I'm going to need to get some more job slots, because I've been losing those pretty decently, because I haven't been fulfilling what they want me to do. And it's actually been a little bit difficult to do. I'd say that this game actually has a few balancing problems right now, just with you can't really please anyone, it kind of seems, the more I've been playing it. But at the same time, I haven't exactly been the best and easiest person to work with. This game will handle a lot of different... Okay, here we go. So here's an example. You kind of go through the day, and then you get a bunch of different things you have to handle with your police force. And right now, they want me to throw in a bunch of police officers to handle this massive fight that's going on down at, looks like, a club. So we're going to go and do that. And it says, we received a call from the club manager who said that a brawl broke out in the main hall involving over 20 men, security, and blah, 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 blah. Now, I could send literally everyone to go do that. I still don't even have enough police officers to handle it that effectively, but I could anyways. I could even throw some SWAT teams in there, as well as my paddy wagon, which is going to increase effectiveness. I think we'll do that just for funsies and kind of see how it works. So each of your police officers have different effectiveness ratings. That's obviously my best one right now. I had a much higher person, but he decided to go and just randomly quit. Police officers will do that, sometimes for good reasons, sometimes because they just want to, and that's kind of a fact of life, which this game definitely tries to push heavily. Sometimes things just happen, and you have to deal with it the best you can. So we're sending them all out there, and they're all going to go and deal with this. Now, because I've sent everyone else out right here, just kind of because I wanted to, if anything else happens, I have no other officers to send to any other incidents until all these guys get back. And we're going to see exactly how they handle the situation. It's kind of randomized sometimes. Sometimes you'll catch whatever criminals are there. Sometimes they'll escape. You can have officers die on duty. Civilians can die. A lot more. See, they're saying the situation is even more serious, but unfortunately, I'm doing absolutely terrible, and I have no other people to send there for reinforcement, so they're just going to have to deal with it. I'm just going to refuse it just for funsies and see what happens. And there's another thing going on right there, but there's nothing I can do about it. So they finished going to that location. Let's see how it ended up. Okay, so they actually caught the offender, and no one was hurt, which is actually really good. I was a little bit worried about that. So it seems like our guys are doing pretty good for the start of the day. But I have used up my SWAT token. I don't get that back. So it's a little bit of like a strategy management game when you're doing this part. You kind of wait and try to disperse your best guys with the other ones that you want to train up and things like that. Now, will we be able to get to this situation? Let's find out. Yes, we can just make it, which is good. There's an assault going on down the suburbs, so we'll send probably our best officer and this guy that we need to, or this girl, rather. Is that a girl? Look, it looks like a girl. I'm going with girl. That we need to train up a little bit more. She can probably handle it mostly, and she can just help out. I don't know. You only get a certain amount of time to deal with these situations, so let's see what else is going on over here. There's a homicide down there. They want me to send a lot of officers once again, but we don't really have that option, so we're just going to toss the ones we do have in there and hope for the best. Now, ideally, when you're doing better in this game and the town hall likes you more, you get more police officers to utilize and everything. Unfortunately, there was things that I didn't do for them. You get missions from both the Mafia and the town government. And one of the first missions I got was a mission that I didn't personally agree with, and that's totally fine, though. That's just how I wanted to play the game. They wanted me to actually fire every black police officer. This game will handle a lot of very mature situations. It's not like this game is racist or anything. It just, it goes through all these situations that we would kind of see in the real world or that could possibly happen. So things like that, or people dying on duty. I could even go and try to get police officers I don't like killed if I wanted to. You know, it is a very mature, story-driven game. So it's definitely not for, I don't know, kids or anything like that. Okay, so you also get these kind of different choices you get on these different missions you send the police on. So this one, a boy struggling on the ground, barely holding off an angry dog that's trying to grab him by the throat. So we have a couple different options here. We can pull on the dog's collar. We get to hit the dog with a taser, or fire some shots in the air. And this is where you have to really choose what type of police force you want to be. I'm actually surprised there's no option to just flat out shoot the dog. This is a very mature game once again, and things like that do happen, so it kind of makes sense to me. And it kind of comes down to what you both want to roleplay as, and or if you're playing it like I am, you're doing it a lot more like how you would probably react in that actual situation. In this situation, as crazy as it sounds, I'd probably try to tase the dog because it's dog trying to assault a kid. As bad as that sounds, that's probably the best option. Firing a shot in the air possibly would do something, but I don't know. I don't have to explain myself really. I think that's just what we're going to do, and we're just going to see how that kind of plays out. Right, so the dog let the kid go, and the owner starts to flee. And we get a couple options. We can either run after him, you can borrow a bicycle and take it. There is a little bit of humor in this game. I wouldn't say it's like hilarious, but they try to like lighten it up a little bit. It's kind of like how Game of Thrones lightens things up. Let's just run after him and see what happens. So we managed to catch him. No one was hurt, and the boy ended up fine. That's good. Everyone is kind of happy. We're actually doing pretty good today. I was a little bit worried. Alright. Officers need for official questioning. Oh god, so they're taking some of my officers in for questioning. This is probably due to me getting laid off in, I don't know, 168 days at this point. So that'll be a whole thing. Unfortunately, they're taking my best officer. That's annoying. Okay, so there's a homicide report as well. We caught the offender. Officers unharmed. Wow, we're doing really good today. There we go. We found some loot. Interesting. I've actually never come across loot. This is a whole new thing. Okay, so I guess we got other choices in here as well. So you can choose to be as corrupt or as non-corrupt as you want. Right now, I'm going for the uncorrupt route, and it's biting me in the ass, but it's still something that I want to do. So let's go ahead and bring it to the police station. Don't really want the Mafia to sell it. I don't really like the Mafia. And I just want to see what happens if I kind of ignore them as best I can. Okay, so we got another thing to go here. An attempted murder. We have no one to go there, though, so it's going to have to just kind of wait. Someone might die, but that's what happens when you can't just out-call the people that are returning to the station to go all the way up there for some reason. That's fine, though. So let's just go ahead and get through the day. So if I wanted to, I could probably hire a new police officer or something. Let's see if I have any open slots. Yeah, I have 2 open cop slots right now, so I could hire these guys if I wanted to. I'm probably going to hire this one onto Shift A. You get 2 shifts, A and B. There we go. Boom shakalaka. Then we can also go see what the City Hall thinks about us and request a couple of different things. So if I wanted to go over to the Mafia page as well, I can actually get them to falsify a crime. that could kill any officers that I send over there. Very good to use if you want to get them to not testify against you. Thing is, I'm not using that, though, just because my playstyle again. Alright, we can send people over there now, so let's go ahead and send our 2 officers there. I feel like someone's going to die on this one. You just get that feeling every now and then. So this is where the majority of the game takes place. It gets a little bit crazy. Not all days are kind of as relaxed as this. This has actually been kind of a tame day in general. But it does come down to a lot of strategy. Like, you don't always want to send out your best officers towards a smaller crime. You want to save them. You want to keep City Hall happy so you have more police officers. You want to keep the Mafia happy so they don't do a lot of more violent crimes and try to, like, not give you money. You might end up with not enough money to retire with at the end of the game, which I assume is the goal. And the Mafia is a great way to earn that cash. So we still have no officers available right now because they took 3 of them in for questioning, which I'm not really super jazzed about. There's a terrorism threat. An ice cream vendor notices a suspicious black bag, which has been lying unsupervised under the bench for the past few hours. I'm actually not going to send anyone over there because I've only got 2, and this seems like a pretty dangerous mission. You can tell how dangerous missions are by how many open cop slots there are. So that's the thing that's just going to have to leave and stay there and hope for the best. You do have to choose which ones you want to let go sometimes. That is a thing that happens. There's never going to be a perfect day, I've noticed. So the offender escaped and someone died, which is unfortunate, but unfortunately we just had no way to really deal with it. Let's go see how they handled that attempted murder. It was a false alarm, which really sucks, because now I could have sent those officers over there. Well, I guess I could have anyways, but I didn't have enough. So no, it's kind of how it had to be no matter what. So we're coming towards the end of the day here. Now we're just going to end it off. Alright, there we go. And we can just end our day. And you kind of go on from there. There's a couple other things here. So at the start of the next day, you get these newspapers again. They give you little hints on the story. But the weird thing is, and this is something I'd really like to see kind of utilized in the game going forward, is that I'd love to see them kind of have like little tidbits of what you did in the game kind of like randomly generated. Like, say, the terrorist threat had someone die yesterday, or we tased the dog, right? Like what we just did in the game. I would love to see that reference on these newspapers. That would just be kind of like a neat little tidbit that they could throw in there. It's not a big deal at all, and it's kind of like a non-criticism, but it's still something that I really like to see in these types of games. It's kind of like a neat thing to see. So we start our next day and we go over to work. There might be a cutscene as well. There's a pretty good amount of story that's interspersed throughout this that has different choices that you can do as well. And when you start days as well, there will be things like this where police officers will ask you for certain things like days off and stuff, and depending on how much you like specific officers, what traits they have can have different traits. Like, they can be hard workers or alcoholics, things like that. You can kind of keep them happier or kind of try to keep them in check a bit more. Sometimes their different reasons for wanting days off will be more reasonable than others. So this one, she says she's offering free admittance to all the museums in the city, and she wants to go because she's a big fan of art. Well, no, I'm not going to let you go just for an art show. I kind of need you to, solve crimes, so you're going to just stay right there, please. They also have different things like fatigue as well. If they get too fatigued, then they'll be less effective, more likely to make mistakes, and you'll fail trying to solve crimes. And we can choose our music again. Again, I'm not going to, but trust me, music is really good, so we're just going to go back to the map here. I'm hoping I can show you some... Okay, whatever. I don't really care what that is. Hoping I can show you a bit of the investigations as well today. Then we'll kind of Then we'll have gone over most of the game. So let's see what's going on here. An attempted murder. So we're gonna send 3 officers down there. We'll probably disperse it with these ones. There we go. Sounds good to me. So we got 3 more officers. This force is thankfully slightly bigger than the last one, so it should be a bit easier to handle. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. Something at the police station. Alright, so this is the Mafia asking for help. And it looks like there's 2 Mafia guys trying to kind of start a gang war between each other, so I could send in some police officers to help out these guys, and then the Mafia will like me more. I'm not going to do that, just because that's not the way I'm playing the game. This is one of those games where it's not really even about winning to me, as weird as that sounds. Like, my goal isn't necessarily to win, it's to roleplay it the way that I want to, you know? If that makes any sense. Like, I'm not really worried about whether or not I win the game. It's more like I want to kind of be the police commissioner that I want to be, or kind of like roleplay as a different one and maybe play through it again afterwards. It's interesting. Okay, so here's the investigation aspect of the game. These are a bit more involved in the regular crimes that you send the police officers onto. So what we do is we throw our detectives in there, and you just hit proceed. You can throw as many as you want in, and that'll affect how good everything ends up at the end. And what these guys will do is they will go on this investigation. They'll piece together these photos, and then you'll get suspects afterwards. Then you send them with your police officers to go catch them afterwards. Okay, so let's see what's going on over here. The Sands want more help. Again, we're going to say no to that because I just don't want to. Looks like we do we have 3 police officers die? Interesting. Oh, so all of them died. That is not good at all. I have no idea if that is a direct result of me not working with the Mafia members, but it's very possible. However, half our workforce has just died. And that's a thing that just happened. So let's go over to a fair, see if we can hire some more police officers. Nope, we still have 12 cops left, so I guess it takes another day before I can get more of those. Kinda sucks, but I guess we'll just deal with it at some point. See what's going on over here. There's a massacre going down, so that's not very good. What we'll do, though, is we'll toss our officers in here. Toss a SWAT team in there to kind of up our chances a bit. We don't really want the rest of them to die. Not sure what happens if all your officers die on duty. It's definitely possible. And I do think this game has a few balancing issues. It can be a little bit unforgiving at certain points, but at the same time, I think the nature of this job is also unforgiving. So I think it goes for that kind of realistic type of thing. Now, what is this? Ah. So they want to... That's the other Mafia that wants me to help them out. And again, I don't even have any officers. It looks like all my officers did die. Oh man, that's insane. Never had that happen before. So, on top of that, the hero that I was supposed to take care of also died. So that's not very good. And they refused to give me another job slot for an officer. I have no police officers right now. This is insane. Alright. When I said I'm doing terrible at this game, I meant I'm doing absolutely awful. But that's okay. So this is kind of a neat little combination of strategy and other games as well. It's got some political intrigue to it. A lot of coverage I was seeing for this game was saying that it was trying a little bit too hard to kind of be topical. I didn't really find that, actually. I find that it does take inspiration from definitely real world things that have happened in the past, but none of it's connected to the world at all. It kind of mixes all of this crime drama stuff together with modernized and sort of classic tropes as well. So I think it's kind of an interesting game to check out. As far as whether you should buy it or not, I can't really tell you because I've only played 2 hours. But if you did get anything like information, any good information out of this video, then I hope you did. And if you did, please give it a like. I'd be super appreciative. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day.